Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a recommendation video for some forced proximity recommendations. This is one of my favorite tropes. I love how different scenarios can force characters together, force them to realize they're falling in love, force them to address the tension and chemistry between them. I have only one bed, I have road trip, I have living near each other, working with each other. All of those are so good, and I love it when they have to be around each other. That definitely progresses a relationship. I've done this video a couple of times. I can link my previous ones down below, but I will go ahead and get to some romances where there is some forced proximity that leads to lots of tension and our characters falling in love. Can we appreciate the Elsie Silver Novel Ground sweatshirt? I just placed a big order with Novel Grounds and they're coming out with a sports line. I think that it's already out by the time this video is coming up. But this one is for Powerless by Elsie Silver, which we'll go ahead and do. My first book is Powerless. This sweatshirt even has his name and number on the back. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I'm obsessed with this sweatshirt. It's so cozy. I got it one size larger than I normally get, and it's just like I could live in this every day. So if you did not know, Powerless is Elsie Silver's newest release. Jasper's a hockey player, and it is a romance that is friends to lovers. So the heroine, she was a dancer, and the beginning starts out with her getting married and she decides to run away from her wedding, and Jasper is there to help her, and so he helps her leave. And the fiance was a bad person, and it was more of like an arranged marriage kind of, so she was just trying to figure out her life, and she has really wealthy parents, and Jasper is a very damaged hero. Oh my goodness, he is going through a lot. Something happens with his brother, and so his head is just not in the game, and so he is forced to take like a leave of absence from hockey. Even though he's really good and he's really needed for the team, his head's just not where it needs to be to perform to the caliber he needs to, so his coach tells him he can't play, and so him and the heroine kind of run away together. They do go back to Wishing Well Ranch, which is the ranch from the first two books in the series, which follow the Eaton brothers. Jasper pretty much grew up with them, so they go back to the ranch, and the hero and heroine end up going on road trips to various places together, and it is just so sweet. The heroine's been in love with Jasper the whole time, and I love a good friends to lovers romance. So if you want a road trip in a book, definitely check out Powerless. I'm obsessed with this series. I'm obsessed with Jasper, if you can't tell. And while it is like technically a hockey romance, it's more not focused on hockey and focused on their relationship, and I loved it. I do have another, I'll just go ahead and do the other Elsie Silver book here. I do have a photo finish by Elsie Silver. This one is her one in her Gold Rush Ranch series. I think this is book 2 or 3, and this one is a living together romance. So our heroine is actually a jockey, and the hero works for his family's ranch, and they have a past. So this is a second chance romance. They were kind of talking on this website where it is like a website. That's all I'll say. And they start talking and forming a friendship, and then really start falling for each other, and then something happens where the hero just like cuts her off. But they end up meeting each other in real life because she works for his family's ranch, and she gets injured. She gets thrown from her horse. Someone pretty much sabotages the race on purpose, and she gets thrown and she really injures herself, and she lives in an apartment upstairs. She can't do stairs right now, so they make her move into the hero's house, and they live together, and the tension between them is insane because they already have a lot of sexual tension, but they have like this really big anger and hatred towards one another because of their past, and the hero is hiding a secret that I am shocked I didn't know about going into this one. It is a really important aspect of his character, and I loved the reveal that happened in here, and the dynamics between them are just amazing, and of course everything is heightened because she has to live with him, and it is so good. It forces them to confront each other, which I love about a forced proximity. So if you want it on a ranch with a jockey heroine, I love that premise. Check this out. Okay, so another one is one I will not stop talking about. I'm aware it was in the last video I did, but please read this book. It is Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young, another friends to lovers romance. I am obsessed with friends to lovers. This one is so good because they meet on New Year's Eve, and they have a New Year's Eve kiss, and then pretty much, so from the heroine's perspective, the hero's the one who friend zones her, and so they've been friends for like a year and a half. Their friends have gotten together. This is book 2 in the series. I read it as a standalone. They talk about the couple from the first book getting together. We see them in this book. I'm gonna go back and read that one, but Lane and Matt are just like the closest friends. They're always there for each other. Matt grew up homeschooled and didn't have a lot of like pop culture education, so she has like lists of movies he needs to watch, books he needs to read, songs he needs to listen to, and so that's kind of their thing. And she ends up kind of having an existential crisis on her birthday and puts her savings towards buying a bus, and she wants to renovate it and live in it, and everyone just doesn't take her seriously and questioning her, and Matt's like, cool, let's do it. So she parks the bus at his place of work. I forget what he does. It's something, I think it's like working with cars or something. I don't remember, but she also offers her services as a graphic designer to like brand their business, but she needs to get the bus, and Matt goes on a road trip with her, and it's so adorable. They listen to Jane Eyre on audiobook together because Matt was listening to it, and they like time frame they're switching off driving by saying you can drive for one Titanic movie and then I'll switch off and drive for a Titanic length movie, and it was just so funny. I love their little quirks with one another, and Matt is just the most adorable hero who is so madly in love with Lane. I'm obsessed with him. He fell first. He has been pining for her this whole time, and I love their dynamic so much. There's a bit of a third act breakup, but the resolution to that is so worth it. Oh my gosh, like this book is perfect. Please read it. I'm obsessed. Then I have Need You Now by Ava Hunter. This one is the third book in the series, but it can be read as a standalone. This one, our hero is best friends with the heroine's sister, and the heroine is actually attacked when she's mugged in, I think she's in LA, because he lives in Nashville. He is in a band with her sister's husband, and so the whole series revolves around music and that band, and the hero and her had hooked up in the past because the heroine's sister in book 1 had amnesia, and she disappeared for like over a year, and so they were devastated. They thought she was dead. They were really close with her. The hero in here has substance abuse problems. He had them in the past, and he has decided not to do that anymore. He had almost overdosed, and the heroine of book 1 saved his life, so he's really close with her. When they thought that she was dead, they found comfort in each other, but now she's not, and they are kind of awkward around each other because they're like, we've hooked up before, but like, your sister's alive, like, we need to like stop it. But she gets injured, and the sister is on bed rest because she's pregnant. She can't go and help her, so he offers to go to LA, help her recover, and pretty much help her with her job because she is a very popular party designer, like party planner for like high-end clients. So she's a very demanding job, and she wants a promotion. So the hero goes, has to live with her in this tiny one-bedroom apartment, and it's so cute how they're forced to be around each other, and obviously tension's gonna grow, this sexual tension between them that they can't deny, and he is showing her a really kind side of him where he is helping her with anything she needs because she can't pick up things. She's supposed to be resting because she was just stabbed, but she won't take a break from work, and he helps her, and he stands up for her a lot, and I love that. And obviously they fall for each other, but they're in two completely separate parts of their lives. She is thriving in this business in LA, and he's obviously in Nashville, and he was thinking of taking a break from the band, but he doesn't know if he wants to, and so he has that all going. So they have to reevaluate their priorities, but it's really good. I really enjoy this one. Another recent release that's a neighbor's romance is The Naked Fisherman by Julie Ann. This one, our heroine actually lives in the same house as the hero. It's like she lives downstairs and he lives upstairs, and her mom is like renting the place from him. She grew up with her grandparents who were very religious. Her mother was in jail for certain reasons, and now she decides to go visit her mom when she graduated high school. She doesn't know if she wants to go to college. She doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life, and so she visits, and her mom ends up having to go on a work trip, and it's her alone with Fisherman, who is the 10-year-older landlord in this house, and she's working for him. So she's also has to work with him. They have to drive to work all the time together, and there is absolutely a ton of tension between them, and she is just questioning everything she's learned because she grew up very religious, and she feels a lot of shame for things that she's feeling, and the hero is trying to show her like it's okay, it's normal to explore those things, but also like you are 10 years younger, so there's definitely a taboo aspect to it. But I really enjoyed this one. They have to keep it hidden because it is taboo. He is really close friends with her mom, and I just really liked it because also people are trying to hook them up with other people. So she's trying to date someone younger, he's trying to date people his age, but then they get jealous of each other. So very angsty. I'm very scared for book 2. It is a duet, so it kind of ends on a cliffhanger. They're not together at the end of this book, and I'm very nervous for what happens in book 2, but I'm very excited. Then I have Unraveling Him by Claire Kingsley. This one has a road trip and roommate situation. So the heroine is working for her father's, like, he's a mechanic and he sells cars and things like that, and she is working for him and realizes he's in some bad business, and he's sleeping with her best friend. So she's horrified, decides to leave the business, and she needs to fix up her car before she does that. So she approaches our hero, who is very grumpy. He doesn't like to talk to people. He's from a very big family. He works on cars, and it was his car that was just taken by the police that her dad sold to him that was a stolen car, and so he is devastated because that car was going to help him in this big competition. So she's like, hey, I have another car that you can buy, because I've got connections, if you let me fix up my car with you. And so he reluctantly agrees, and she's like, but I gotta go with you. So they take a road trip to get this car together, and then she ends up having to live in his home because she has nowhere to stay. He literally finds her like parked her car in the middle of the woods, and he's like, what are you doing? This is dangerous, it's cold, come stay in my house. And so he ends up having a soft spot for her. He does have an adorable dog as well, and so this one is just so fun, and I love the Grump Sunshine dynamic, and I love his family, and she got close with his family, and they're working with cars. It was just really fun, and I love the fact that it had both a road trip and she has to live with him, and he is noticing her what she wears around the house, and I just love that dynamic. Then I have The Enforcer by Avery Keelan. This one is a hockey college romance, second chance. The hero and heroine were dating in their freshman year of high school. They broke up for specific reasons. She is working in like physical therapy and like sports training, and he is a hockey player, and she is one of the best. And so for their placement for their senior year, she puts all these sports down, but they're like, we want our best people for our best team, which is our hockey team. So she is forced to work with the hockey team, and the hero is one of her patients. And so they are like divvy up the team between all the trainers, and he is hers. And they have to be around each other again, even though he completely broke her heart their freshman year, and he's never gotten over her. And it is a big no-no though for the players to date any of the staff, so that's definitely forbidden, but they can't stop being around each other. And he is recovering from a shoulder injury that she knows about, and so she's on his back about making sure that he's up to play and stops damaging it further, and that becomes a point of conflict near the end. But I love the fact that this is so hockey centered, because she's got to go on the trips with them, and she is always around him, and he can't avoid her either, and it's so good. I really enjoy this, and there's other players hitting on her, and the hero gets jealous. So really fun hockey romance. Then I have Hail Mary by Steiner. This one is a football romance, and it is also a second chance romance. This one, our hero and heroine meet in high school, where they meet online. So they are both gamers, and they meet gaming, and then they start texting and really fall for each other. But the heroine is not popular whatsoever. She's bullied at school. The hero is the literal like star quarterback of the school, or player. I don't even remember if he's a quarterback, maybe? I don't remember. But in this one, they end up falling out in high school because he completely obliterates her heart and embarrasses her, and she is horrified. And now she's a tattoo artist living around campus, and she lives across the street from our hero. He has no idea who she is, and she knows very well who he is. She hates his guts and never wants to be around him. Her apartment floods, so she needs a place to live, and he is adamant that she lives with him. And so she moves into his house, into his room, and stays with him. And he is like staying in the family room, whatever. He's sleeping on the couch, but they're always around each other because she lives with them, and I love how obsessed he was with her. He falls so hard for her. He does not know he broke her heart though, and she is very hesitant to let him in, but obviously she can't avoid him because they are literally living together. So I had so much fun with this one. It definitely gave me Cinderella story vibes with the we met online, and then he is just doesn't know what to do with the fact that like acknowledging who she is in real life, and I had so much fun reading this one. It's one of my favorites of the series. Definitely check it out. Then I have Mile High by Liz Tomford. This one is a workplace romance, another hockey romance. The heroine's a flight attendant and has to work on the private jet for the hero's hockey team, and the minute he meets her, he gives her a really hard time. He is like, you are gonna wait on me hand and foot. I'm not gonna like give you any chance to avoid me. So it is impossible to avoid each other. And then they keep on running into each other because she travels with the team. And so if she goes to a bar at the cities that they're at, he can show up there, and so they show up and keep on running into each other. There's this joke that one of them stalking the other one, and it is so good. The hero falls so hard for her, and she is really traumatized over a ex that she had who was friends with her brother, who was also an athlete, who made fun of her weight and made her really insecure about it. And the hero is so patient with her and is willing to show her how much he is in love with her and how perfect she is, and I love this one. He's definitely infuriating, but there's also dogs in here. Like, everything about this is amazing. They also live across the street from one another, so there is no avoiding each other. They see each other everywhere, and his friend lives in her building, so they are constantly running into each other, and I love it. I love how Xander's just such a complex character. He's used to having the playboy persona for the public, but he is really so thoughtful and has a lot to him and is really conscious about mental health and promoting that, and I loved it so much. You have to read this if you haven't yet. I also have The Frat Boy by Nikki Sloan. I talk about this all the time because I'm obsessed with this one. This one, they have to work together in a house that they're living in that for like adult film. So they meet each other. She's in a sorority, he's in a fraternity. They're doing some kind of game where the winner gets money that they both need, and she says that the hero's team cheated. He says no. They end up getting into a huge mud fight, which embarrasses their like sorority and fraternity, so they're kicked out, and they both are desperate for a place to live. So they see an ad that if they work for this adult film company, they get to stay in the house. So they both show up for the audition, don't realize that each other is auditioning until they walk in the room, and they are so stubborn that they refuse to let down and want to tease each other and break the other person, and they are so attracted to each other, and so they're forced together to do scenes together that they're both really into, but they don't want to act like they're into it, and they want to tease the other one as much as they can, and they're living in the same house, and they actually like get really excited when they get to work together and want more opportunities to work together. And I just love the dynamic of this one. It is so hot. Such a fun enemies to lovers. Like, if you read the series, read this one. Then I have Until You by Katarina Mora. This one is another living together romance situation, and it is a brother's best friend. So the heroine is in a relationship, and her brother's best friend is like this tech huge billionaire guy. He owns his own tech company. They both code really well and like hack things, and they actually work for the secret organization that takes down bad people. They are anonymously chatting with one another, and they don't know it's one another, and the hero comes to visit the brother, and the heroine's there, and the heroine's boyfriend breaks her heart, so they are like, we are going to retaliate against him. She's like, no, don't, and the hero does. And then she ends up moving in with him, where he lives in like California or something, because he offers her a job to work for him, since she has never gotten to move up in her own company because she's a woman in tech and they don't really trust her or respect her, so they put her in sales. The hero gives her a chance to work for him, and they're living together. So they cannot escape one another, but they've always had a thing for one another. The hero is secretly in love with her, and I love Katarina Mora's book so much. She writes billionaires so well, and I love the hero, and I love that they were both so good at hacking and were secretly talking to one another. So this was a lot of fun. Highly recommend Katarina Mora, and I love this one from her. Those are all my recommendations for forced proximity. Let me know if you have any favorites. I would love to hear, and let me know what your favorite type of forced proximity is. Do you love the road trip, the only one bed, the neighbors, the living together? Let me know. Maybe there's one I forgot. That's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.